this kid, he has to win hide and seek forever. Can you guess where he hid?
If he's won hide and seek forever, no, in the attic of his house, under the floorboards, something like that. I don't know.
You're way off. This guy hid. A teen boy accidentally gets shipped to Malaysia from Bangladesh because he hid in a shipping container. And after 6 days, they found him in the shipping container.
Yeah, I mean,
And
for
he
6 days,
survived.
they must have been like, this guy is in the best fucking hiding place.
How many days into it would the friends give up?
He's so good at hide and seek.
It's been 3 days. I mean, come on.
It's so good if like they really didn't like him and they still were like, oh, thank fuck, he just gone. Yeah, I mean that's pretty impressive. You know, plus free vacation, so that's good.
Well, I mean, it's not much of a vacation. You're spending the whole time in a shipping container. So,
hey, once you get out of it, just run. You're in a new country you've never been to before. You know how to travel for free now. You just might not get to your exact desired location. It's all good. So, yeah, guess what I'm doing.
yeah, well, they had to examine him and stuff because, again, he was in a shipping container and wasn't planning to travel, so didn't have food or anything.
I mean, that's where you made a mistake. If you're going to be a world champion hide and seeker, you've got to bring food with you, just because you could be there for 6 days and travel to a foreign country. So,
I think that if the lesson in this is that if you're going to play hide and seek, you got to be prepared to last it out for days.
Exactly. I mean, be cautious and like plan for a week. That's my feedback on that. Yeah, I think that's.
You got to bring spare clothes,
spare clothes,
underwear,
at least a week's worth of food.
Probably some
maybe
porn
like a Nintendo or something. Yeah, something that'll kind of keep you active. Box of tissues,
several portable batteries for your phone.
Yeah, all the essentials that you would bring with you.
Well, speaking of porn, what is the problem with porn?
That there is not enough of it.
Aside from that,
aside
the
from
bigger
that,
problem.
I mean, there's potentially many answers which are all incorrect as to what is the problem with porn. I don't know what is the problem with porn.
Well, it's not realistic enough.
Oh, okay, I can get that.
A guy lost his virginity, and he's upset that, well, his first girlfriend isn't what he's seen in porn. He says, I watched a lot of adult movies and read a lot of erotica, and I thought I knew exactly what to expect. But when I finally had the experience, I was left really disappointed. The first thing that struck me was the size of her breasts. They were much smaller than the ones I had seen in the movies, instead of the large, voluptuous breasts that I'd imagined. Hers were the size of ping pong balls.
I mean, I will say you can kind of tell that before anything. You don't need to be having sex with her to find that out. I'm just saying.
You would think so. You would think that.
Either that was the most wondrous push-up bra of all time, or you knew going into this whole experience. So,
or maybe it was a blind date and they've never met, and
possibly, yeah.
His first time meeting his longtime girlfriend was in the bedroom.
Possibly. I guess people do that. Why not? It's 2023. But yeah, I feel like that one you should have known. Also, I mean, you should kind of be aware that porn is not real life. Like, it's not an instructional, it's not a documentary. It's not, this is a live recording of what goes on. Most of those dudes would never be able to pick up the girls that are in those films. Never. It's never happening for those guys, except they have one particular skill.
Also, the amount of like stepmothers and stepsisters that are involved, it would be...
That's actually real. That happens all the time. If you have a stepsister, she's just going to get bored one day and offer you some action. So
it'd be funny if this guy has a stepsister and he's like, why has this never happened to me?
Yeah. My stepsister and her friends are always hanging out, but they never appreciate me walking in naked. Don't get it. It's not what's in the movies.
My stepmother was doing the laundry and she didn't appreciate it when I just stuck it inside her.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you shouldn't have realistic expectations in the real world from your watching of porn. That's just what you should do is just aspire to get into the porn business if you want to have that kind of experience, because that's where you'll get it. Probably only there. So there you go. So.
I guess. Well, there was another issue that left him extremely embarrassed. Can you guess what it is?
I'm going to guess that it did not last for 12 minutes. It lasted.
I mean, that's way off.
I'm just speculating here. Feeling like that's something to do with time.
No. The second thing that struck me was the amount of hair down there. I'd seen a few movies where the women had shaved their nether regions, but my girlfriend hadn't. Her bush was thick, dark, and really bushy. Again, I couldn't help but feel a bit disgusted.
All right. Again,
then the third thing that struck me was the actual experience of doing it. In the movies, it looked so smooth and effortless, but in reality, it was awkward, clumsy, and messy. We kept fumbling around and struggling to find the right positions. It was nothing like the movies, and I couldn't help but feel a little bit disappointed.
I mean, I don't know the full tale of his experience here, but it sounds like he wasn't quite prepared for the realities of the world today. Yeah.
Imagine if the girlfriend read this.
I want her side of it. I want what she was repulsed by.
Obviously she wasn't going to be like, this is the greatest thing ever. No. Especially when we get to the next point. Finally, the fourth thing that struck me was the lack of passion. In the movies, the couple seemed to be connected by an intense and passionate connection. But in reality, it felt disconnected and distant from my girlfriend. I didn't feel any kind of emotional connection, and it was just another letdown.
That's because you were thinking about porn the whole time. This isn't how my favorite porn star looks down there. This isn't what I saw in a movie 10 minutes ago when I was cranking one out. I mean, now it's weird and I can't do it properly.
Yeah, I mean, wait until he finds out that Avatar isn't real.
What? I actually hope that halfway through he stopped and he was like, wait. We got to watch this movie I have on my phone here because we're doing it wrong. Let's just take a look, get some inspiration and start again.
Firstly, let's shave you. Secondly, let's get you some implants.
I mean, yeah. And then let's try this again. This is just part of the problem. People are just not prepared for so many things. They just turn up and expect things to be like the movies. But 3 times out of 10, they're not like the movies at all. So there you go.
Yeah. Most of the time they are, but just sometimes it's not.
Yeah, it's just, you know what? It was this guy's problem. He was just doing it wrong. He was just watching the wrong movies. And yeah, I feel like his girlfriend's side of this would be very different. So
yeah, well, we did touch on the stepsister side of porn. So, at what point is it actually okay to really date your stepsister?
When she's over 18, I don't know. Technically, there's nothing wrong with it. Technically,
well, there's a big if. I mean, if they're half,
Oh, well, I mean, half sister is different. Complete. That's probably. I'm going to say that's not okay. But if it's just a stepsister, completely like one of your parents has married someone else who already has a kid with someone else, that's okay. It's just going to be like, weird for a bit. But then you get to play into this kind of weird fantasy that apparently the entire world has. So.
But then if it's your mother-in-law, then becomes your mother.
Yeah, I mean, it throws up a few weird things like that, but it's only technically, there's no blood relation, so you're okay. I think as long as there's no blood relation and everyone's over 18, I think you're good to go. Yeah.
Well, yeah, this guy, my father remarried when I was 19, and my new stepmom has a daughter who's the same age as me. We had a lot in common, and over the years we became great friends. I'd always had a bit of a crush on her, but I was too scared to do anything about it. Then one night we were out at a bar together, and things got a bit out of hand. We ended up kissing, and it felt like I had been hit by a truck. I realized at that moment that I was in love with my stepsister. Since then, I've been trying to figure out what to do. I know that this isn't the kind of thing that I can just keep to myself. I need to tell my parents, but I'm terrified at the thought of doing so. It's been weighing on me for months, and I'm starting to feel like I need to do something about it. The first thing I did was talk to my stepsister about it. Which, I mean, if she's not in on it, then...
I mean, yeah, that's a good place to start. And it just depends what her reaction was. If she's like, yeah, me too, then maybe you gotta look into this. But I know, so far it just sounds like the synopsis of a Pornhub movie. That's all I'm thinking so far. So,
well, he says that he made it clear, and she wasn't ready to tell our parents. She was understanding and supportive. She said that she wanted to wait until the time was right, and that she wanted to make sure that we had a plan in place before we said anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
God, this person goes into so much detail. So he told the dad, who was fine. She said that she noticed a connection between us, and that she wasn't happy that we were being honest with her. And she was happy that we were being honest with her. She said that she would talk to my dad and that they would figure out the best way to handle it. Mm-hmm. She also stated that there is nothing wrong, as the two of us does not have any blood ties.
There you go.
They didn't agree with our relationship, but they wanted us to be honest with them and that they would try to be supportive. Yeah. This relationship is stronger ever since, and we are still in love, and although it hasn't been easy, we are doing our best to make it work.
Hasn't been easy because the sex was weird. It wasn't what he expected after watching a load of porn movies.
Well, that's the hard part. Like, what if it doesn't satisfy whatever you want, and then all of a sudden now you've had sex with your stepsister? It's not like you can just break it off and...
Christmas is going to be weird.
Yeah.
But
here's my new girlfriend. Hey, girlfriend, here, meet my ex / stepsister.
Shaves herself in areas. Let's just put that out there. She, at the same time, I think it would be kind of weird, but it's like because you would have some sort of tie to your ex forever until your parents break up. But which you would have to work on. You'd have to be like, right, let's fucking break these two fuckers up so we don't have to spend Christmas together anymore. But like if the daughter and son got together first, it would be it wouldn't be as weird, I guess. So I don't know. I feel like Pornhub has just made stepsister and stepbrother love acceptable in the world. So yeah,
as it should be.
I mean, that's what we're all hoping for, stepsisters at some point in our lives. There you go.
You gotta get upset your parents for not breaking up, so they can't give you a stepsister to...
It's like, have you guys ever thought of exploring other relationships?
Particularly with a single mother who has an attractive daughter.
And parents be like, we gave you everything. Oh, no, you didn't. I've never had a stepsister.
I feel like that is an awesome movie plot. Like a guy who intentionally splits up his parents so that he can force his dad to date the mother of the girl of his crush.
But then the sequel is related to the stepmom trope on Pornhub. So gets into his stepmom. It's weird. Shouldn't have said get into his stepmom. He becomes interested in his stepmom, and there you go. It's a whole series we got.
See, we already have a sequel.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, offers by email, please.
20th Century Fox or whatever. Reach out. We only need a little bit of, it's a low budget picture, so we're only about 45 million.
I would say 46. Yeah, it should be fine. The first mainstream movie by Brazzers.com. Just in your local cinema.
I mean, it's not far off. OnlyFans are making TV shows, so...
I got ads for their TV shows on YouTube this week.
For their TV shows.
It was like 6 OnlyFans creators. I was like, wait a minute, what's this?
I got ads for their TV show while I was on there.
It's like, OnlyFans, what is that? I never heard of it. Oh my God. You're another streaming service I have to subscribe to.
Why is OnlyFans advertising to me on OnlyFans.com?
It's an interesting question, which I must do more research into, I suppose. So, yeah, there you go. It's it's happening.
Well, speaking of doing... Well, yeah.
I was just going to say they're making...
I was going to say,
What? You still there?
Okay, speaking of doing research, how do you test if your girlfriend truly loves you? Or if you're truly in love with your girlfriend?
If you're truly in love with your girlfriend, or if she's truly in love with you?
If you're truly in love with her.
How do you test yourself if you're truly in love with her? I don't know. Maybe put yourself in a situation of temptation and see if you hold out and, don't succumb to the temptation.
I mean, that's not going far enough.
Okay.
This says, my ex-boyfriend cheated on me to realize if he still loved me.
Okay.
And he realized he did.
Nice.
He didn't tell me. I read his messages with his best friend. He was so ashamed telling him how he was feeling guilty. I was devastated. I couldn't keep the relationship.
Oh.
I don't know if I should understand him or not, but it is a fact. I can't trust him anymore. I think there are other ways to realize if you still love someone, but going and sleeping with another isn't one of them.
I mean, look, we all have different methods of doing things, and this gentleman clearly decided the best way was to have sex with somebody else. And then see if he felt emotionally as attached to that other person, who he found under a bridge for like $45 an hour, somewhere in the darkest bowels of LA. But yeah, it's one of those. I think if you cheat on someone, even if you're saying, "I did it to prove to myself I loved you," you're probably in trouble. Probably. They're not going to like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't tell her.
I mean, she found out, though. They always find out, man. They always find out. So, it's not worth it. You gotta, unless you go to a different country and never tell anybody about it ever, you're screwed. So.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you obviously don't message people. If you learn anything from that story, it's just don't message anyone.
The parts that they probably didn't tell is the friend purposely showed the messages and was like, but I would never do such a thing to you. And I'm available. And now she's with the friend. And that's how dick move that is.
Or it was the stepsister and,
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. I mean, this movie plot's getting thicker and thicker. We are getting stepsisters, best friends, cheaters. Thicker. I like it.
Well, if a woman has two sets of private parts, is it cheating if you have exclusive access to one and the other is for other guys?
I mean, I don't think you'd be happy with that arrangement. I'm going to say yes, the entire body and soul needs to be in the relationship, not just one of the private parts.
Okay, but what if she was using one of them to work as an escort and one for her boyfriend?
I mean, that's a professional choice, so I still feel like I would not be pleased with that arrangement. So yeah, I'm gonna say I would not be okay with it until she started making at least $10,000 a week. So there we go.
But
then I'd
it's
be like, well, let's see.
Well, it says I was born with complete uterus didylphys, which means that they have the two sets of parts.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to use one for work and keep one for my boyfriend.
That's a
It
weird
worked
sentence.
well for us emotionally and physically, made work a lot easier. Anyway,
yeah.
Since then, I've had two babies on my right side via C-section, both babies extremely small. I want another baby, but we have to use my left side, I've been told, and unfortunately, I don't come from this side often, so I'm rethinking my decision. I'm now married, though, in an open relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just like, I feel like it's a missed opportunity for a threesome with one person somehow. You've got two lady parts that are working, have all the functions of a lady parts. I don't know. But yeah, I think also the thing would be, you're still dating an escort, you're still married to an escort or something, or in an open relationship with them. I'm not sure I'd be cool with it, but who knows? Maybe like her one vagina that was reserved for me was magic. Who knows? So
well, it does become weird though when you need to use the other one for the third baby.
Yep.
Like the ironic thing of this is that there was no issue until they wanted the third baby, and the third baby could only be coming from the other vagina that was for escorting.
It's very weird. It's very weird. It's like, how are you comfortable having sex with your wife's other vagina? I need to think about this for a minute.
Yeah, imagine being in the position of, this is my vagina. That one's the one that gets used for work, but now I have to share.
Or imagine they go through with it, and he's like, "All right, we'll do the left side and see how it goes." And he's like, "This one's way better. What the fuck? Why did you keep this away from me this whole time?" So anyway, yeah,
that's the biggest problem with this story. Is the fact that she's been keeping the goods from him.
I mean, you got to keep the good stuff for the customers. They're going to keep coming back. Otherwise, they might not. But I don't know. I would feel, I wouldn't. I mean, if there's two down there and she's like, you can only go into the right. I don't trust dudes. Dudes are not going to be like, oh, okay, then no problem. I'll do that, even though there's two there. I'm not trusting dudes.
Especially if you're like, if you're going for that, like, surely if you're in that position, you're going to be like, as a client, you're going to be like, well, I want to try both. And then you have the awkward conversation of like, well, I'm sorry, that's only for my husband.
I feel like there's going to be lots of conversations, lots of happenings of like, you can only go into the one on the right. And then the dude goes into the other one. He's like, oh, I thought you meant my right, not your right. I did what? Which one? I mixed it up. Sorry. She's like, well, you could take it out now. It's like, nah, it's fine. It's there now. May as well finish.
It's already happened.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't trust.
And then does she have to say to her husband, "Hey, I'm sorry, I cheated on you today."
There you go. I mean,
wrong.
if they're in an open relationship, though, she's kind of off the hook, so to speak. She's just like,
Well, no, only one of those vaginas is open.
well, listen.
They're in a closed and open relationship.
All right. Well, yeah, I think there's a conversation needs to be had after each session with a new client. Well, he went this way. I was like, don't. I was too late. Oh well. So we kept. I feel like there's conversations to be had. Also, this should be a new genre in this a specific type of movie.
The debate.
Yeah, but
a video of negotiating with clients on which vagina to use.
I mean, it must be every session with a client is like, this one, not for you. Like, don't even look at it. This one's off limits. This one here.
But then how is that sexy? Like, how do you be sexy whilst also telling your client, do not go on that side?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe it's just like there's a secret fetish for double vagina ladies, and it's so rare to find that these dudes just don't care. They're like, okay, fine.
Yeah, but if you had a fetish for it, you would want to use both. You wouldn't want to.
You would, but maybe just the fact that there are two there gets you going. You're like, all right, fine. I'll just accept that I can only use one.
I mean, that's a unique take. I feel like.
I think it is. I think it's probably wrong also. I think, again, you'd be like, oh, I thought it was your right, not my right. Oh, sorry. See, when it was the other way around. Sorry, it's just the wrong one.
I always forget my left and right, so.
Yeah, I'm illiterate. I mean, oops. That's got nothing to do with it. Oh, well. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't trust it. I don't trust that they're so close together and yet they're going to be separated all the time. It's not happening. So
well,
anyway.
Other than that, as a dying wish, if you had a dying wish, what would it be?
To never die. I don't know. Like if like the world was going to end, or if just like if you had a disease you're going to die. Like what's the situation of how you're going to die, or how I'm going to die? I guess.
I don't know. Just make a wish for older people. For
other people, fuck that. Like for me to experience something before I die. I don't know. Like a dying, I'd have to put some serious thought into it, but it'd be something like actually, as I'm talking, I'm coming up with ideas that are just fucking weird. So,
3 vaginas.
I want to have a stepsister who has 2 vaginas. Not dying before that happens.
Use one. I want to use my wife's other vagina.
Oh, can you imagine if like some night, like he's like, let's spice it up. I'm going into the public one. Oh man. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. My if I was like, hey, I'm fine today, but I'm going to die this week. My dying wish would be to have some sort of crazy swinger party orgy. There we go. Just for the crack. But I get to choose everyone who's invited.
Such as?
Probably Cameron Diaz. And that's all. So.
It's not really an orgy.
I don't know. It's too early in on a Sunday to figure this shit out.
Well, this one is my dying friend wants me to hook up with him before he passes.
Okay. He's on the right lines.
Basically, my terminal ill friend told me that he wants to sleep with me as a dying wish. There are a number of factors that complicate things even more. For starters, he has a girlfriend.
Sweet. Yeah.
They've been together since young. I've been friends with the guy for about 3 years, and he always confided in me about their problems and their relationship isn't exactly stable. I don't really know her well, but from what I've gathered from mutual friends, she's not very pleasant. This is, of course, isn't an excuse or even relevant, as I can't even imagine what she must be going through since her lifelong boyfriend only has a few months left. I now realize as I'm typing this, I'm just trying to find a way to justify doing it, but there really isn't. Secondly, do you want to take a guess at what the second reason why this is an issue?
She has a boyfriend who is not into it. I don't know.
Secondly, I'm a virgin.
Oh, okay. All right.
So even if this guy was single and in great health, it would probably suck for the both of us, lol. Don't get me wrong, the guy is attractive. I've had a small crush on him since we met, and he recently admitted he liked me too, which is why he asked if I'm assuming, but I can't imagine it going well for the first and last time.
I would request to be brought to the doctor's office for proof that he's dying, because this seems like a move to me. This seems like, oh, I'm dying, I want to sleep with you, that's my dying wish, let's get it on, because I'm dying. So yeah, as I said, I don't trust dudes. Dudes will do anything to get some. So yeah, I don't know. And if he is legit, I would say he is not going to give a shit one way or the other. So he just wants to add one more sexy lady to his list of people he has slept with in this life. So
yeah, I mean, it's also like a free swing at it too, because like if you're dying, it's not like they're gonna go and tell the girlfriend and say, "Hey, he said this," because then it's like they're being a terrible person.
It's also, you know what, if he's dying, he's got a couple months. It's not like their relationship is going anywhere. Like, not to be mean, but if he's dying, she's going to be single in a couple of months anyway, so she's going to be all right.
So you're saying go for it?
I'm saying go for it. Just go fucking wild. Why not? I mean, hey, if the dude is thinking along those lines, he clearly doesn't like his girlfriend all that much anyway, but he's not breaking up with her because he's dying, and he's like, fuck it. And probably every girl he knows, he has said, hey, I've just been thinking about you. My dying wish. Like every girl he knows. But yeah, do it. Why not? It's a special thing between you two before he passes on. So why not? You'll always remember your friend who died. There you go.
Well, this is an area where you have a lot of experience in. How do you know when it's a good time to approach a senior citizen for sex?
Usually around 3:30, 3:45. I don't know. I think they'll give you signs. You know, start rubbing your arm and stuff like that. Whatever. It's all good.
Well, there's more direct stuff. A TikTok video has gone viral from a Florida retirement village that claims to show a color-coded loofah system used by senior citizens to indicate their sexual preferences.
Okay.
So, where are we? So, there's a thriving swingers scene and black market for Viagra in these retirement homes. So if they have a white loofah, that means that they're novice and beginner. Purple means they're voyeur and people who like to watch. Pink, soft swap, people who like to do it with others in the room. Blue, lowest level of full swap, those who can play well with others. Yellow, mid-level swap for those who want to have fun but are still nervous. Black, full swap, those who say what the hell, let it all go. And then teal is for bisexuals.
All right. Well, it's just 25, 30 years away from retirement, so it's good to know these things beforehand. Might head to Florida sometime and need to know this. But yeah, I'm glad they're so organized and have their color codedness all set.
And there are people that they put them on their cars as well, so to make sure that people know as they're driving around.
Well, when I'm in Florida next, I will keep an eye out to make sure I see who's up for some fun.
For some teal for you.
Just like, what color was that? Well, just rewatch this episode of the podcast so I know how it goes. Yeah.
Well, it goes into saying that pineapples left on the doorstep is a known symbol for swingers. Lawn ornaments. Reports have circulated that garden decorations such as gnomes and flamingos could be an indicator your neighbor is keen on swapping partners.
Yep.
Adirondack chairs. I don't even know what that is.
No.
But apparently that's furniture that symbolizes that you're in for some swinging.
And where do you get some of this furniture? Is there a link?
It's like the wooden outdoor chairs that are extremely common and therefore a whole lot of people.
So what you're saying is everybody basically is DTF.
It would be hilarious to just go to your neighbor and be like, you're in the lifestyle. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, you see that chair, it means you're down for some swinging.
It's more, let's be honest, it's more likely they're going to say, yes, we are. Come on in. Come and join us.
Yeah, it's
accidentally buying an indicator that you're a swinger is the funniest thing that can happen in one's life. And people knocking on your door and be like, hey, coming to a party?
Or just giving people gifts that indicate that they're a swinger that they don't know.
Hey, this is a lovely pineapple for putting inside your door.
I noticed you don't have a doormat. Here's one with a pineapple.
It's the greatest gift anyone has ever given us.
Well, have you ever got lost and gone in the wrong direction?
Yeah.
Any interesting stories? Perhaps you've gone to the wrong place?
I mean, I got into a taxi once and told them where to go, but told them the wrong place and ended up like in a really dangerous area in the Philippines. That was interesting and fun. I got back to the hotel at 8 o'clock the next morning. Aside from that, nothing really too exciting happened. But
well, a long-awaited dream vacation was in Kingsley Burnett's future, a cruise departing from Sydney, Australia. The New York man could barely contain his excitement on the first leg of his trip until he looked out the window of his airplane. I saw mountain top covered in white snow. At that point, I knew I was in trouble. When he touched down in Billings last week, the snow and the small Cape Air jet waiting to take him to Sydney, Montana, spelt differently too. Sydney, Montana is spelled Sidney as opposed to Sydney, Australia, which is SYD. But even weirder, the acronyms for the airport, SYD is Sydney, Australia. SDY is Sydney, Montana. Which does have a point. They shouldn't be calling Sydney, Montana Airport SDY. Like it is unnecessarily confusing.
Yeah. But also, who books their flight based on the tree letter identifier for the airport. Surely you type in the name.
Actually, a lot of websites do use it. So, in his defense,
Well, fine, but
I mean, there is
double
going to be a
check your
slight.
ticket.
Also, like, you probably should notice if you're buying like a $100 ticket versus like a 1,000 plus ticket.
I think, yeah, it's quite expensive to get to Australia at the minute. So, yeah, your pricing of that ticket would be a lot more expensive than Sydney in whatever state that was.
Well, it's like I'm assuming it most to be a 2-hour flight versus a 15-hour flight. So
maybe he thought he was getting on a super fast jet that was new that like flew to Australia in 2 hours. Yeah, no problem. We'll just take you halfway around the world in 2 hours.
Well, yeah, he couldn't even make his cruise, so he just had to go home.
Yeah, I mean, he learned a valuable lesson about booking travel. Double check your tickets before you go anywhere, that they're for the right place. I mean, when I book flights, I double, triple, and quadruple check them just to make sure, because, I don't want to turn up to the airport at the wrong day or the wrong terminal and that sort of stuff. And also, they generally say where they're flying to when you get on the plane, when you're boarding the plane, it generally says where it's going, that sort of thing. So, yeah.
Well, there's also like the problem that it's actually too far to just fly direct too. So, like, you can't actually fly from New York to Sydney. So that would be another problem, that if you're flying so far, one, the cost aside, but two, the fact that 3-hour flight is probably not going to be long enough.
I mean, that just sounds like negativity to me. There's no limits. If you believe it, it can happen. And he believes that it would take 3 hours to go from New York to Sydney, Australia. There you go. He must have got on the plane, though, and been like, this is an awfully small plane for a long-haul flight.
Why is everyone wearing snow gear? Also, like, I mean, there are so many elements to it where you'd be like, why is there not a single Australian person on this plane if we're flying to Australia? Like,
yeah, you think there would be at least
half the plane realistically should be Australian.
Yeah, definitely. Quite a few.
So,
yeah, it's not
even if it's only 1/3, like, that's something. But like, the fact that no one on the plane.
I feel like there was no Australians going to this small town in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, I feel like it should have been a red flag all the way along. Something was wrong.
Also, like, it would have to be like some tiny plane too. Like, it's not going to be.
Yeah. Do you think for months beforehand he was bragging to his friends and colleagues, like, I got a flight to Sydney, Australia for like $99. It's gonna be great. They're like, wow, that's such a great deal. Yeah, no, pal, no. So, yeah, I mean,
it's
when you travel, you've got to make sure your tickets are for the right destination. And that you know how to spell the name of the city you're flying to. That's an important one.
I mean, there's so many elements to it that fail on.
Also, he shouldn't have gone straight home, because that's just the beginning of a Hallmark movie where he's about to meet the love of his life, and she lives in this small town, whereverville, and it's a great story they can tell their grandchildren and stepsisters. So, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, although I almost want to go and say that this is a great opportunity. If you want to get famous, book a ticket to somewhere that has the same name and just say you did this thing, and who can prove that you're wrong?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, how are they going to... Yeah, I mean, it just... Yeah, it's very easy to fake this.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And then get yourself in, like, several news things for...
I don't think he comes out positively, though. It's not like everyone's going to be like, oh, the poor dude. Everyone's going to be like, what a fucking idiot. So...
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel bad for the dude. I feel like he should have known that his flight that was 2 or 3 hours long wasn't going to take him to Australia. So it's a long way. So
there are some elements to it that I don't know. Like if you type in trying to go to Sydney, Montana, it automatically redirects you to Sydney, Australia.
It's a bit suspicious.
Yeah, there's elements to this where you go, I don't know. I feel like the news got fooled on this. There's also the slight problem that you can't fly directly from New York to Sydney, Montana. Or Sydney, Australia. But, like, yeah, there's so many elements along the way where they'd be like, yeah. Also, when you go and so he didn't notice until he got on the plane and the plane was pulling in. But you go check into the airport, and firstly, if you're flying international, they're going to ask you like 100 questions about, have you been vaccinated? Do you have this proof? Do you have a visa? Do you have a passport?
Mm-hmm.
At some point, there has to be, some level of someone talking to say, hey, what's going on here?
You would think so. But yeah, it doesn't. So see, the stories, just the more you dig into it, it doesn't really add up that is possible to have been what happened. I mean, he would also just have to be.
Well, this guy's made it into like several things.
I feel like he might have made this up. Yeah. And you'd have to be so oblivious to what's going on around you to have this happen. So, I don't know. I'm not buying it.
No, and you'd also have to fly in a weird direction. So, I went in to do this, right? Mm-hmm. On the American Airlines website.
Okay.
And it says, multiple matches for entries. The first thing that comes up, your requested arrival city, and it says Richland Municipal, Sydney, United States of America. So they actually tell you specifically that you're flying to America. So he would have come to a page that says, this is in America, not Australia. Yeah. So this is now being in worldwide news all around in several different things. Mm. And the story does not add up. It's in The Guardian. It's in Joe UK. It's in Sacramento Bee. It made the Sydney Herald in Sydney, Montana. There's a lot of news things here that have just published it. And it's not even logical.
It's not. I mean, it's taken us not a long time to debunk this story. So I feel like they should have done one Google search to find out if it was possible. Or one American
and then
Airlines
when you click on it,
mm-hmm.
you then get something went wrong. We are sorry for the inconvenience. We encountered a problem. So you can't even search on the American Airlines website to do what this guy claimed to have done.
Well, there you go. So yeah, maybe it's just a ploy to get it featured in as many media outlets as possible. And
to prove how dumb they are, that they'll just...
yeah. So next month he's going to fly to Dublin, but Dublin, California, and be like, what is going on?
These airports, they just keep... I mean, we should almost do that just to be like, oh my God, I cannot believe that this happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible. We could do that. Go to like lots of cities that are just not the famous version of that city or the most well-known version of that city name. Like, so we go to this Sydney, Montana, go to Dublin in California, go to, I think there's like a London and Toronto sort of thing.
Imagine I fly from Melbourne to Sydney, which is a 1 hour flight. And then I claim that I'm like sitting on the plane from like, I've had to fly to get there, I'd probably have to go to LA. From LA, probably to some other random airport. And then get on another flight and then be like, I'm sitting on the plane and just realized I'm going to the wrong Sydney and I spent over $1,000 to get here.
4 flights in, it started to click. I might be going to the wrong place.
4 flights, 2 days.
Yeah, I feel like by the time the second or third flight was landing, you'd figure it out. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, it says you also click the cheapest. I found the cheapest option I could find takes 24 hours, costs $560, but it takes 24 hours to fly there on Cape Air, which I've never even heard of.
It sounds like a legit airline.
But yeah, you would think.
Sydney.
Yeah, well, you got to fly from New York to Dallas, Dallas to Billings, Montana, Billings, Montana to Sydney. So you would think that somewhere along the way,
so he did have to take 3 flights. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So, I mean, in that regard, you could be like, okay, it might take me 3 flights to go to get to Sydney. But is the hub that you'd be flying out of going to be Billings, Montana? Or is it more likely to be one of like the bigger, well-known hubs that people fly out of? Like Chicago or...
Well, yeah, you'd have to start asking questions when you go from New York down to Dallas and then you fly back up to Billings, Montana, the opposite direction and go...
Yeah.
Maybe there is something wrong here.
Oh, also they give you itineraries. They tell you where the flights are going. Like it would say which state you were going to fly to, and your flight from Billings, Montana to Sydney must have been like 20 minutes. So, yeah,
it's actually quite big because Montana is large, but like still.
I mean, yeah.
It's actually similar amount of time to fly from Billings, Montana, as it would be to fly from Melbourne to Sydney. So, he's lucky he didn't go to Glasgow because there's a Glasgow, Montana too.
Well, there you go. Basically, every time this guy goes on holidays, he's just going to end up somewhere in Montana, even though he's planning to go to some other city in the world.
Well, the cool thing is, like Montana, just quickly looking at it, they have a Jordan, so you could say you're going to fly to Jordan. You have Glasgow, and then you have Malta.
Nice.
Then you have Harlem. So you can say I was going to do all these like I booked a tour. I booked a road trip to Jordan. So I first had to fly to Sydney. Then I was going to catch my flight to Jordan. And then when I got to the airport and handed them my passport, they acted weird as to telling me they didn't need to see it. You have Hamilton. So Hamilton's also a city in Canada. So you can basically do some absurd road trip and claim that you went to all these places, but not actually ever leave the state of Montana.
I feel like that's a future road trip that we should do just for the crack.
Just go to like every hotel we go into, just be like, wow, this is Jordan. I thought Jordan was meant to be like an extreme Muslim country. This does not look like the Jordan I've heard of.
Just name like the local or the big tourist attraction that each city is well known for. Yeah. So where is the Sydney Opera House? I don't see it anywhere.
I mean, it would be fun to. You wouldn't be able to get away with it. Well, I couldn't get away with it, but you could. You could say that, look, I'm Irish. I flew all the way to Sydney, and just be like, where's the Opera House?
I'm Irish, so here I am in Sydney.
I mean, I could just say I'm from South Africa and just be like, yeah, I flew in all the way. Where's the Opera House?
We're performing at the Opera House this evening. If you could give us directions, please, that'd be great.
I know it's got to be a big deal for you to meet a celebrity like us, but can you just tell us where the Opera House is? And then when they're like messing with you, like, I know we've all been starstruck. Just tell us where it is.
I know you don't usually get stars like us at the Motel 6, but come on, we're all professionals here.
And then Glasgow. If only Glasgow was known for some level of thing.
I'm here to see the Glasgow Celtic and Rangers football match. There you go.
We should go. Do you know how good it would be to go there and just be like, yeah, we're very big on Rangers. So hope we don't see any Celtics fans around. We're here for the derby.
I'm pretty sure it would be safe enough to do that there in Glasgow, Montana. But you know, who knows?
Or actually, it would be fun YouTube video to be like, it's Derby Day in Glasgow, and we're here going to one of the roughest pubs in Glasgow to support.
Just keep asking people where the soccer stadium is, and be like, turn up, and there's nobody there. Be like, what's going on? It's supposed to be busy. Yeah, that could be fun.
Glasgow, Montana.
That can be a fun trip. Basically, what we're saying here is that Montana is the tourist's destination that you really want to go to.
Glasgow, Montana is quite a big place. They have a population of 3,180.
Nice. Do they even have a pub? I guess they must have one.
It would be so fun though to like just rock up, faces painted and everything, and just like wait to see Celtic. It's always been my dream to go watch Celtic play at home.
Saved up for 10 years to get here. Could you tell me where to get tickets? Is that yeah. I mean, you know, it's a trip.
You just say like, look, I know it'd be impossible to get tickets, so that's why we're like planning to just hang out outside the stadium and
yeah. We'll find a way to
it
make
has
it
an
work.
airport, so
if it has an airport, it definitely is the right place to go.
Take a guess what the Glasgow High School sports team mascot thingy is. You know how like Celtic, and then you got Rangers.
Yeah,
you got the Rangers. What would be the Glasgow High School one?
Oh God, I don't know. The Warriors.
No. It's even like more obscure. Like it sounds like someone got off a plane and was just like, "Let's do this." They're called the Scotties. The Scotties of Glasgow High School.
Nice, appropriate. I feel a little bit disturbed by knowing that now. So much that we need to plan to go there just to take the piss out of the Scotties at some point.
Let's go to the Scotties in Rangers gear and just be like, Came all the way.
I mean, that would be that would be one thing to do. I think there's a really good idea for a TV show of like traveling, but to different cities, like named with the same name as famous cities or big cities.
Yeah,
I think, and that one right
and
there,
especially like I reckon in like rural America, you could almost pull off that we did fly here, and if we act like we are complete morons from different countries and
act like just pretend to be a moron, no problem, I got you. Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, what we do is, so you can do it multiple ways. In different places, you go with that angle. But other ones you go like, yeah, we were at the pub last night. We're like, let's book a ticket to Glasgow. So we did. So we're here. And then be like, yeah, we're drinking on the plane too. This doesn't look like the Scotland we've heard of.
Oh, that would
just be like, we were on a tour in LA together and we got too drunk last night and we're just like, let's go to Glasgow.
We were talking about Glasgow. We were like, fuck it, let's go. And here we are. It's different. You guys don't sound Scottish. What's going on?
It is creepy when you go on their Wikipedia and it says there were no reports of rape or murder occurring in Glasgow in 2010.
I mean,
which is a very random thing to say.
I mean, it's good. It's good.
It is, but then we can go compared with one murder the previous year and 16 incidents of rape from 2003 to 2008.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of worried for Glasgow, Montana right now, if that's what's on their Wikipedia page.
Well, their new jail has 26 beds, replacing the 16 beds of the previous jail.
An upgrade. There we go. Yeah. Well, we'll try not to get thrown in prison while we're there. Can't
we could go check it out as the, yeah.
I mean, it does seem a bit strange that they would list those figures, but there you go. They've got to be proud of something.
2010 was their year. It seems like that's all that they have.
They were, there was lots of campaigning. Let's make 2010 our year. Don't rape or murder anyone, please. And it worked. They did it. So
can you wait till next week till you murder someone, please?
No murders in 2010. 2011? How about it? Just kill everybody you want. Not in 2010, please.
You just all hold off on, like, I understand you have to murder someone, but as a town, we're working together to wait this year out. So, it's December, so if you could all wait until January 1st,
yeah. I
don't care if it's 1 minute past midnight. We want this year to be clean.
And that is a team working, a town working together. That is real teamwork in the town or the city. I think it's good, great to see. It's just like what's happened in the 13 years since then. Maybe we don't want to know.
Well, good old Sydney,
mm-hmm.
Sydney, Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take a guess at how big it is?
I'm going to guess it has a population of 7,000.
We're actually very close. 6,300.
Nice. All right. Well, it's bigger.
Just proving not really like you could make that mistake legitimately.
I mean, Sydney is an internationally recognized metropolis. It's like Sydney, Australia, versus a town that has 6,000 people in it. Yeah, it's an easy mistake to make. We could all do that, I think.
I mean, the other way of... We could actually do like a full-on series of different places of like trying to trick them. But another one that I thought of was like, I tell them I run a tour company in Australia and that I messed up and you'd booked with me and we'd accidentally booked the wrong flights. And now I'm stuffed. I have to explain to you how this is Sydney, Australia. And just tell him, he's Irish, he's drunk, he doesn't know. So just play along.
Why is that always the thing that people say? He's Irish, so he's drunk, and he doesn't. It's not always true. There's 7 o'clock in the morning. We're not drunk at that time. It takes a little time to build up.
It's truer than it should be.
Anyways.
Well, Sydney, Montana has a long list of notable people. The first person that comes up is Florrie Fisher.
Ooh.
This is true. Former drug addict and motivational speaker, retired to Sydney. So that's the notable person right there.
Okay. Interesting. Who else we got?
Just a bunch of nobodies that.
Here's Ted. He ate a pie once. He's another notable person.
Former drug addict.
Was he a motivational speaker? Not so much. He was kind of a drug dealer. All right. Well, it's an interesting town. It sounds like they need some razzmatazz brought to their little town. So, yeah, we should put it on the list.
They need some people coming in asking where the opera house is.
I guarantee if we did something like that, it would end up in their local paper and it'd be like 2 guys came thinking they were going to Sydney, Australia.
Based on this, if you did that, you could actually get in the international news just because they republish and don't seem to do any research on the fact that how unbelievably ridiculous the story actually is.
It's almost like journalists are not doing the work they're supposed to do anymore. They're just letting ChatGPT write their stories for them. And similar.
Certainly seems that way.
It certainly does. Look, it took us like 2 minutes to figure out that it was highly unlikely, actually a real thing. That the guy didn't fake it himself. So, I don't know. Maybe he's looking for some sympathy or whatever, or had a plan that it was going to work out differently. But, I'm not buying it.
Do you want to know what even proves it further?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I did actually click on that link for the flight. And it goes, actually, sorry, this fare is no longer available. So you can't even book indirect flights taking 24 hours to get there.
Well, there you go. So we have comprehensively debunked the idea that this guy accidentally bought a ticket to the wrong Sydney.
But we are going to use it ourselves and try to...
It's also given us a series idea.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep turning up at the wrong city with the right name. There you go.
Yeah, I feel like... there's lots of Dublins in the US. So.
Yeah. I'll meet you in Dublin. Which one? If it's meant to be, we'll go to the same one.
Dublin, Ohio. Dublin, California.
Yeah. I think there's one in Texas as well, maybe. They're all over the place.
There you go. It's like Virginia, Georgia.
World tour of Dublin.
Dublin, Virginia is tiny.
It would be.
So that's perfect.
I feel like we should explore this idea. Let me see. If we look up how many Dublins there are.
Imagine just going around America being like, is this the real Dublin?
Where's the Guinness place? There's 20 Dublins across the globe. Most of which are named by Irish adventurers in honor of Ireland's own. There you go.
Well, what about you go and you say, my mum met a man from Dublin and they lost contact. I'm trying to find my father in Dublin. I don't know which Dublin though. And she was a little drunk that night, so she's not exactly sure which accent he had either. So
I'm pretty sure I know which Dublin, because apparently Dublin, Georgia plays host to the annual Redneck Games. There's nothing more sure than that's where it came from. There you go. Yeah, I think a world tour of Dublin needs to happen.
Yeah. The different Dublins, and then complain that it's not quite as good as back home.
A lot of them are in America.
Just go there and shit talk to them about like this isn't as good as Dublin, Ireland.
This isn't Dublin. The idyllic banana islands of Sierra Leone also boast a Dublin. All right, Banana Islands it is.
Well, there's new island in Papua New Guinea, so
true. Well, hey, there's also apparently a Dublin in the Adelaide Plains in southern Australia. So there you go. We could be globetrotting trying to find all the Dublins for our show. So there you go.
Dublin in Adelaide Plains is it's drivable from here. I don't know why you would. There doesn't seem to be much there. I mean, it has one tourist attraction that is called the Shed.
Oh, nice. A shed.
And it is literally a shed, and it has 2 Google reviews of 3 stars, 1 5-star. Okay. The first one that is 5 stars says A, then 3 pluses. The next one is 1 star, says it's an overrated shed.
There's only 2 ratings for it, pal. And one is clearly by the owner. But
it's literally a shed that has the words "the shed" on it, and it has 1 parking spot,
nice,
which is a disabled parking. Okay. And on Google Maps, it has 2 bins outside. So
I think that's the final destination on the tour. You're finally at the real Dublin when you get there.
They even have a sign out front, and it lists when the weekly sausage sizzle is.
Ooh. The weekly sausage sizzle. It's usually a Friday, I think, when that happens.
You know what? You're right. On Google Maps, on the 12th of September, on a Friday, there was going to be a sausage sizzle. So sadly, we missed it.
You know, if it's a weekly thing, we can get there for the weekly sausage sizzle at some point.
There is literally just a shed in the middle of nowhere, and it has 2 flagpoles too.
Oh, nice. And
a disabled parking spot. It would be funny to use the disabled parking spot, even though you're not disabled, just in the middle of nowhere.
One of my dreams in life is to open a 500 spot parking garage, and all the spots are disabled spots, and nobody can park there except for disabled people, and just see all the pissed off people driving around not able to park anywhere. And
you said that you didn't know what your dying wish would be.
Well, that would take time, you know. Obviously, yeah, maybe we could do that. But yeah, hey, Dublin, Adelaide sounds like an amazing tourist attraction.
Yeah.
So next time.
I mean, it's not Adelaide. It's in South Australia. So
okay.
It's important to mention that it is well outside of Adelaide.
All right.
Nowhere near.
Well, that's awesome. So the next time we're on an Australian road trip, we got to put it on the map, on the list of places to go.
Visit the shed.
Yeah. Hey, who doesn't want to visit the shed at some time? I think that's...
and use the disabled parking spot.
Yeah, just like somebody, there's no one around for hours, and then somebody starts shouting at you, "What the fuck are you doing? Why did you park there? I need to park there. I'm trying to get to the
I
shed."
came for the shed.
Oh, good times, good times.
But yeah, I reckon definitely like a US road trip of the towns with different names.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
There's even a Manchester in there's a big Manchester in the US. Just go there and be like, yeah, fellow United, I'm here for the big game.
Yeah, that'd be
Especially if you did it like on a European game, like where
sure.
there's a Champions League game and you just say you've booked cheap tickets.
Why is my flight to Manchester taking 12 hours when it's supposed to take like an hour? What's going on?
I did it to save money, obviously. That's why I flew via...
Yeah.
The flying via Spain to save money made sense. It's then flying to 3 cities in the US to then get to Manchester.
Yeah, it makes sense, like to save money, but you know, here we are. When's the game on? It's Tuesday. Come on, let's go. Oh man, see, these dudes who go on YouTube and they're like, let's just instinctively go to this place that are like my McDonald's worker says to go to and stuff like that. They're missing out. They need to go to these cities and do these things because the city has the same name as a bigger city. That's where the comedy gold is at, right there. So
there's actually a Wikipedia page designated for it. So
nice.
There's even a Kabul in Missouri.
Nice.
Jesus, a heap. Oddly, Sydney doesn't even make it.
Wow.
Sydney, Montana. But there's basically every city you could think of has a town. So there's even Beijing.
Ooh. Yeah.
So yeah, you could easily go
in the space of
like China.
In the space of like a couple of days, you could live stream from some major cities and be like, I've been traveling so far. Here I am in Beijing. I'm in Kabul now. It's been a couple of hours. Here I am now in I know.
Yeah. So. You walk around Kabul and just talk about the Taliban the whole time and just
yeah, you could get
there's several Berlins. There's basically every German city has one, so you could tour Germany without leaving one state in the US.
Just keep asking people, where's the wall? You know, just pretend you don't know it's been taken down. It would actually be fun. Like a funny concept is somebody has set up a tour of European cities, but they've actually accidentally booked tours of places in the US that are just named the same. I think that'd be fun.
I mean, like I'm saying, that you do that as a thing of
yeah. I think we stumbled on
the ultimate road trip, and then just go around telling people that this is Turin. We're now in Venice. And obviously you want to go to like there's Tripoli. I mean, there's even to Timbuktu. There's anything you can think of literally exists. Casablanca. Amsterdam.
But then what you've got to do is, for your last stop, you've got to be like, I'm going to go to New York, or I'm going to go to like some other city, and actually go to a place in Europe with that name, or somewhere like that. So
you can go to Lahore. Lahore in Pakistan is also in Virginia.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, you can. This page is massive. How long it is with all the different cities. There's Ukraine, Turkey,
Wow.
England. There's so many that they had to like separate it out because there's basically any and every city you could think of. Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales.
Awesome.
Uzbekistan. So yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, especially like you got to get the small towns too, because then you're going to get the crazy reactions of the locals.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'd be fun. I'm pretty sure most of them would look at you like you've lost your fucking mind. But that's the fun of the idea, I think. Yeah, I'm playing into it.
Well, yeah, trying to actually convince them.
Yeah. This is my first time in Dublin. Where do you recommend I go? Where's the Guinness factory? Yeah.
Or just the idea that you've flown in to Cardiff for the European final. You bought a tour package.
Yeah.
Say that you got, but each city you go to, you just come up with a new story and try to see if you can pull it off.
Absolutely. I guarantee that sounds like something that would be a massive hit worldwide, comedy-wise. Yeah. Netflix would buy the shit out of that, for sure. So we're just having a little pitch meeting here halfway through the podcast this week. But yeah, I think it'd be hilarious to do it. So we should work on this.
Yeah. Yeah. I reckon, yeah. I actually think it makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, we just each week. I mean, you could even just make up that like I'm here for the European final with Manchester United versus Swansea City, and then meanwhile it's off season and no one even knows. Like, how would they know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then you just claim that you got ripped off on a tour website.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I think it could work.
You tell them that you tell them you paid so much because the travel agency said, look, it is so expensive to fly into Cardiff today that it's actually cheaper to fly to America and then fly back. So that's what we did. So we flew to the US and now we're back here in Cardiff. And then some poor person's like, you do realize this is Cardiff in wherever in the US?
No. We flew to the US and then we flew back. We're not in the US anymore. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Just keep arguing with them. And then just be like, this idiot thinks we're still in the US. But you have so many shots at it too, because as soon as the plane lands, you get to hit the thing and be like, oh, we're in Wales. And then they're like, this isn't Wales, this is Cardiff, whatever. You're like, no, this is Wales.
I don't think you're done. I don't think that's right. The pilot knew where he was going, what we were on this flight for.
And then just be like, funny joke. I bet you do that all the time and pretend you're in some other Wales. But
yeah, it could be a fun one.
I'm staying at the Glasgow Hilton, so you know, Glasgow.
I'm sure they have a Glasgow Hilton.
There would be one in actual Glasgow, but Glasgow, Virginia, I'm sure it doesn't have one.
Exactly.
Glasgow, Virginia has a population of 1,133, so I doubt they have a Hilton.
They should, though. We should campaign to get one. Or just walk around and keep asking people, where's the Hilton? I'm booked in the Hilton in Glasgow. Let's see. I don't see it anywhere on this map. What's going on?
Yeah,
A
all you
big
need to
map of
do is
Scotland.
Photoshop a. Well, you could have an email. It's very easy to like have here's booking.com that says I have booked the
Yeah,
Glasgow Hilton tonight.
exactly.
Presidential suite. Spent a lot of money on this.
This is the most exclusive tour I've ever booked in my life. It's like a once in a lifetime trip. Yeah, good times.
Well, there we go. At some point, we're gonna have to do this US road trip
I think so.
and just try to convince them they're wrong.
I definitely just want to do like a world tour of Dublins. I think that's going to be so much fun. Just go to all the Dublins in the world, see what's going on. Especially the one in Georgia that has the redneck games. I think it's important to visit that at some point. So
Yeah, but I mean that sounds like they would be too worldly.
possibly.
You want Glasgow, Virginia, because it sounds like the kind of place where there's not going to be many like foreign tourists ever coming to Glasgow, Virginia.
Probably right on that one, yeah. Unless occasionally people buy tickets to the wrong Virginia, because apparently that happens to dudes on the internet when they're trying to buy tickets to Sydney. They just buy tickets to Montana.
Even though you can't.
Yeah, exactly. But don't let a little thing like a fact get in the way of a good story,
But yeah, I mean, there's enough cities that you have enough shots at it to like, because yeah, if you can keep going to different places, and all you need to do is find the one person who goes along with it and believes that you've booked the wrong thing, and then yeah,
absolutely. I think it'd be and it wouldn't be too difficult to get someone to believe that. I don't think it'd be quite easy. So yeah, there we go.
next year's road trip.
Next year for sure.
We're gonna have to do it now.
I think so. I think we've already put as much planning as we did into most of our other stuff. So we need to.
Yeah. It's we're doing it.